Hi everyone, my name is Garnette O'Connell. My adventures that happen, I finally know someone who can get those into books. Her name is Allison. I've always wanted to get my adventures written in books, and now that I know Allison, she can do that for me. She's going to be doing a book reading. It's part of a series called The Adventures of a Mermaid, and the book she's reading this time is called The Rat Prophecy. This is part 12. Welcome everyone, I am the Esperanza Tip for 3. Today we are doing a continuation of The Rat Prophecy. And in this video, I actually want to talk a little bit before I start doing the recap. I actually have exciting news. I have already paid an editor to edit one of my books, and if you guys weren't paying attention to my previous book reading video, or any previous recording that kind of looks like a vlog, but it isn't, I sent in the only book that I have for a book cover. And if you know what book that is, then you should be excited. Or at least partially excited. The book I'm going to be publishing is called Ashlyn's Dream Come True. And I just, I actually got the book back, and I knew there was going to be a lot of editing marks, but I didn't realize how much. Oh my gosh. And it's funny because I don't think this editor knows how songs work. Because in my book, there are songs that Ashlyn and her future husband sings. I don't think the editor knows how songs work, because she's changed pretty much almost the entire lyrics, and they don't go together at all. So I'm gonna have to discuss with her. I mean, we're only communicating by email, but so it's the communication between her and me, or her and I, are going to be a little difficult. But I'm gonna have to explain to her that when you write songs, they need to rhyme, and they need to have a certain rhythm and pace and pattern and stuff like that. I mean, it's gotta match. And the lyrics, the stuff that she's changed it to, is completely different and doesn't follow the original songs. I mean, she thinks that I'm trying to use the songs from the films, or from one of the films, and I guess I should have explained to her that the songs in these books are mostly originals, and if not, I've tried to change it so it's not too common with the original song that it's from. I guess I should say that when I send it back to her, because she wants to see what my final revision of it would be with her notes and with her changes in there. So I'm hoping to do that today, and if not, in the next few days, because there's going to be a lot that I need to change, apparently, from her editing. Oh, man. I'm actually really excited, because after we're done with the whole editing process, I'm going to be sending it to beta readers. I actually have a couple of people who want to do beta reading of it, which I am super psyched. And then once all that's done, I'm going to be sending it to a proofreader. And after that, I actually do have to wait a little bit, because the formatter there's a particular person that someone suggested for a formatter, and right now that person's in the hospital. I don't know how long she'll be in the hospital. But I've realized that she does the formatting for Snap or Smash Words, and I don't want Smash Words. I don't want my books to be in Smash Words. I think I might have to use Create Space. I almost forgot to mention that I am still a bit sick. I'm trying to recover. I actually have the proper medications for it this time, and I'm almost getting out of it. Just gotta get all this phlegm and mucus out of my lungs. And all of a sudden I'm thinking of Ahmed. A.C. Flynn. If you see me sweating a little bit, it's because the AC just turned off on its own, and I actually have the AC on heat right now just so that I can get out of this cold and so that I can stay warm. Because it is pretty cold outside. Last I checked, it was like 15 degrees out there. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a quick recap of what happened in the previous book reading video, and then I'll go on to the reading. That is, if my throat doesn't get too sore. Because my throat is already feeling sore. And I've only been doing talking for like about, 10 minutes? I mean, according to the video, I've only done like probably 4 or 5 minutes, but I did a karaoke preview right before this recording. Anywho, what happened in the previous reading, Garnette was able to talk to Ezra, her good friend and her king's advisor. She actually considers him her best friend. They both do, actually. But she got to talk to him before exploring this sunken ship she found way past Aquatica. And which has her really excited for some reason. And so she explores it, even though there's a possibility of sharks surrounding it. And she finds this makeshift, what type did I call it? Bronze? Yeah. She finds this makeshift bronze safe. And of course the second ship that she found was kind of handmade as well, because it looked like a houseboat, but at the same time it looked like a ship. But anyways, she found this custom-made bronze safe, and she decides to sift through it because it was unlocked somehow. And she found like a whole bunch of stuff like photos, papers, trinkets, jewelry, as well as a cassette tape titled Ghostly Scare. She mentions that in her thoughts that she'll transfer it later. And she finds this metallic flower, but it was in the shape of a bud rather than a full flower, you know. But it was all, like I said, it's all metal. Like there was like different layers of like snowflakes, diamonds, crescents, stars, octagons, hexagons, and stuff like that to make it look flower shaped, you know. And so she decides to use her locket to astral project to Darla the psychic. She asks her to find out what it is, and she even learns that Darla had a couple of visions of her and her uncle. Darla didn't quite fully explain what the visions were, especially since one of them was of Garnette in the future. And Darla realizes that the flower seems a little bit familiar to her, so she decides to go ahead and research that after Garnette leaves. And then Garnette returns to the Dancers, which is a club slash cafe. And she finds out that Ariel's memory is wiped out. Ariel's memory of Garnette is completely wiped out. So she goes to Keaton and asks, "What's going on? Why can't she remember me?" Because she knows she knows it was Keaton who erased her memories. And that's actually where we are. So let's go ahead and start reading. It took a moment before she responded. Garnette had to resist the command words. It broke when that moment passed. "I want the truth. What did you do to Ariel?" "What do you mean?" He had a blank expression. "Don't play dumb. She has no memory of me whatsoever." "Oh, you think that's my fault? Try again." He smirked. "If she has no memory of you, perhaps that's how much of a friend you are to her." Her eyes widened as a look of hatred appeared on her face. "You take that back." "I don't have to." He leaned forward and pressed his hands against his desktop. "There is something of hers I have. And no matter what you do, I can and will say anything I want. A brow rose. One of these days I will have something of yours. Keaton smirked once more. I cannot wait for that day. She scoffed with a laugh. Garnette then realized her locket had the answer that entire time. She laughed some more. And no matter where you hide her shell, I will always get it back. Always. She narrowed her brows at him. As she walked to the door, she remembered something. Oh, and I have some conditions for you. Conditions? What for? He asked, making a face. If I start working tomorrow. Keaton sighed. 1, you leave me and my friends alone. 2, let Ariel have her memories back. And 3, you never use those 3 words again. He was about to speak, but she cut him off. Would you kindly, or I will tell everyone what you've been doing. I do have friends in low places. He raised his brows and made a face as he observed her. He shook his head. No. Fine, then tell your boss I will not work here. As she turned, she rolled her eyes. Yeah, right, she thought. Would you kindly forget you ever met me? She asked with that fake, sweet voice. Garnette closed the door when she left. Keaton glanced around in confusion. He looked at his desk. What was I doing? He couldn't remember. Garnette thought of her friend's family shell as she opened her locket. The shell appeared in her other hand. She quickly closed the locket. She then put the shell in her pocket. Garnette walked to the dancer's room. Leah breathed a sigh of relief when she saw her. They looked at Ariel. Ariel, I need to talk to you. Leah spoke. She walked to them. That's when Garnette pulled out the shell. The 2 dancers gasped. Garnette! That's my shell, Ariel whispered. She looked at her friend. How'd you get it? Who are you? I believe you should keep this safe. She pulled out Ariel's hand and placed the shell in her palm. The dancer wrapped her fingers around it, feeling every curve of her object. Memories quickly flashed. She remembered, even what happened earlier. She looked at Garnette with wide eyes. Garnette, I'm so sorry, she whispered. Keaton, I know. Garnette looked around. She remembered why she came. Look, are you guys on your break? I got an old cassette tape transferred to a CD. I haven't listened to it yet, and I don't want to without you guys. They nodded in agreement. My shift will be over in an hour. Considering I have my shell back, I'm willing to quit right now, Ariel said. No! The 2 women cried. You can't quit without giving a 2-week notice. Plus, you can't let him see the shell, Garnette said with concern. I know that, she said to them. Ariel paused to think. I'm going to tell him anyways. As much as I love dancing, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of working here. I'm coming with you, the princess stated. She held her locket, put Ariel in her thoughts, and zonked out. She astral projected next to her friend. Ariel grinned as Leah gasped. Surprisingly, no one noticed. This must be the second way. Yep, but I still don't know my powers. I'll teach you later. Come on. After she hid her shell, she and the astral form walked out to head to his office. They each knocked. Not a word, Nettie. I'm doing all the talking, she whispered. Good, because if I did it right, he has no memory of me, she whispered back. Ariel giggled quietly. Enter, Keaton called. The two-legged mermaids walked inside. Garnette closed the door. "Why, Ariel, must you bug me?" he scoffed. "Would you kindly get straight to the point?" "I certainly will," she whispered hotly, giving him a hot look. His brows narrowed. The astral form put a hand on her shoulder. She held her friend back. She showed Garnette that thankful expression. "Ariel, what's going on?" "I was going to give you my 2-week notice, but since you want me to be straightforward, then here it is." She placed her hands on his desk to lean against it. "I quit." His brows narrowed. His lips pursed and his eyes filled with anger. "We had an agreement, Ariel. I'm not giving that object back." "Too late. I already have it." He widened his eyes. "I'm leaving. My replacement will start tomorrow morning, and you will treat her and my co-workers with respect." He glared at her as the two walked away. "It's not over. I'm still here." "We know." The women were soon in the dancer's room, talking to Leia. After Garnette projected back to her body, the three friends talked for a while. She then brought up the CD she had. "It got my curiosity, so I got the tape converted." "And you don't find it odd that you discovered this in a sunken ship?" Ariel wondered. "Yeah, what if it's evidence of the ship sinking?" "Then it would have been at the police instead of a safe. Aren't you the least bit interested?" She waited for a response. It was quiet for a moment. She raised her brows. "All right, fine. I'll meet you at the beach," Ariel sighed. "Oh, same here. But it'll be a while. My shift's not over yet. In fact, the music should be starting soon. I'll see you two later." As Ariel went home, Garnette decided to head back to Kelly and Jesse's house. She realized she hadn't seen them in a while, and she had a lot to tell them. It took her a good half hour to tell the couple everything. When she finished, she took a music player before leaving. The engaged couple stopped her. "You need to slow down, Nettie. This is too much." Kelly nodded sympathetically. "I agree. In the past 2 days, you haven't had a chance to relax. You must be able to have time to react." She then realized that, too. Garnette didn't understand why it hadn't happened yet. A tear rolled down her cheek while she thought. "I know, but I can't do that now. I agreed to meet Leia and Ariel at the beach." She wiped off her tear. Garnette faintly smiled. "I'll see you two later." Garnette left. Without knowing it, the metallic flower's pulled out more. It almost looked like a stem. Jesse looked at his fiancé. She saw the face he gave and nodded in agreement. "I know. It's time to contact him. He needs to know what Keaton is doing." "Let's hope he agrees. I remember him saying Keaton's the best." Half an hour later, she saw her mermaid friends waiting for her. She smiled when they came in view. Garnette rushed toward them. "Hey, where have you been?" "Sorry, I was telling Jesse and Kelly what's happened." Ariel scoffed. "I told you, Garnette. They only know me." Remembering the couple said no one was supposed to know, Garnette kept it brief. "Trust me, they know more about the dancers than both of us." She gasped. She then remembered she never told them. "Oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you guys. While I was down there, I found this really weird metal." Garnette pulled it out. She was surprised to see the stem was longer. "Wow, look at that." "It looks like a flower bud," Ariel noted. "That's close to what I told Darla. She's doing some research on it, actually. She said it reminded her of something. And you know what? A piece of the stem appeared after I replied about my curiosity being piqued." She frowned. "But it looks like there's more of the stem. I don't get it." Maybe it's a timed mechanism." "Yeah, but In 4 hours? She shook her head. I'd imagine more of the flower would have shown. Well then, it's probably being activated when you say something. You did talk about curiosity of the flower. Has anything happened since then that got you to admitting something? Garnette held in her gasp. Yes. I don't want to talk about it. She put down the music player. Let's get to listening to the CD. Right, let's hear it. Garnette put the CD in its slot. She pressed play. They had to wait a few moments before hearing anything. Hup, hup, ooh, ooh, ooh. I can't do it, Alice. We'll never get this right. Just relax, sis. You don't need to hold your breath. You gotta use your voice, your throat. She paused, but for a split moment. Try to use the lowest vocals for the sounds. Like this. Ooh, 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 ooh. The teenager vocalized her moans as deep as she could, and it grew louder. She did it again. It sounded more like an evil laugh than a ghost haunting. Her sister laughed. You sound horrible, she exclaimed in her laughter. That would make me a hammer. They both laughed at their inside joke. Give it back, a ghost whispered hotly. The sisters didn't hear him, but the mermaid friends did. They became curious and worried. Oh, I'll never get this, the sister said. Don't worry, little sis. You'll get it eventually. Did it just get cold in here? That must mean a ghost might be here, she whispered excitedly. And the recorder is still going. And that is where I'm going to stop. That's just incredible. I mean, I know it feels like the book is dragging on, but this is actually kind of an important part. Because oh my gosh. I am now looking forward to the next book reading, because guys, the next part of this ghostly scare recording is like incredible and actually pretty important. So, now you guys know that the metallic flower has a point of the story. Or at least, well, yeah. I mean, there's a reason why the metallic flower is in this book, and it's partly because of the rat prophecy. And now, I know it hasn't been mentioned yet, but the RAP in the title actually is an acronym. And I really want to tell you guys what it means, but we haven't gotten to that part of the book yet. So, incredible. And I feel like there was something I wanted to talk about. I can't believe I was able to get through this whole recording. I mean, I coughed a lot, and there was a sneeze or two. Oh, and there's a sinus headache. Ow. I know I keep complaining, guys, but that's part of a cold. You gotta complain about something. Okay. Anywho, guys, oh my gosh, you have no idea what I did this past month. I don't know how long it took me, but I got super obsessed with Friday the 13th. If you guys, I don't know whether I did it. No, I did it on my Esperanza Twitter account. I'm sure I mentioned it once or twice on my Rabbit account on Twitter, but I mainly did it on my Esperanza one. I basically did like a whole feed of my adventure through the Friday the 13th marathon, because I decided to watch all the movies of Friday the 13th, including the remake. I basically watched all of Friday the 13th movies, including Jason Goes to Hell, Freddy vs. Jason. Oh my gosh, guys, Freddy vs. Jason. There has to be a sequel to that. Because that was freaking amazing. That was freaking amazing. And the fact that, oh, no, I'm not going to spoil it. The way it ended is just such a tease. And what got me to start my obsession with Friday the 13th is because, one of the YouTube gamers that I watch, Wrecker, or Masked Gamer, as he likes to be called sometimes, he plays Friday the 13th on his channel. It's actually a really interesting game. It's actually a really cool game of how, the makers did it. And it's really cool because there's two versions of Jason that you can play. There's the Jason where it's like a potato sack on his head, and then there's the one with the hockey mask. Which, both of them are really cool. But what's really cool is that, I don't remember which video it was, but one of the videos he did, he got to play as Jason with the potato sack, and at some point, it was like a small room of a house, in the game, I mean, and one of the characters somehow got the potato sack off Jason's head, and oh my gosh, his face was disgusting, and I'm like, wait, is that really what Jason looked like? And that's what got me to start watching and that's what got me to start doing the marathon, because I was curious as to if the movies ever showed his real face. And we have, like, several times. And it's incredible. And it's funny because, I don't remember which Friday the 13th film it was. Oh, right, it was, Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan, or something like that. I think that's what it was. And it's just so weird of how much of the film was on the cruise ship and not Manhattan. You'd be surprised. But it was a really interesting film. I don't necessarily like what happened, but how it ended really amazed me, and it kind of frustrated me. I don't understand how the next film, with that chronology or whatever, didn't keep that appearance. I mean, I guess it wasn't her vision. I really don't like spoiling it, but I have no other way of explaining it myself. But it's really interesting of how it all went, and I actually kind of want that part of the collection of Friday the 13th movies to continue. I've actually seen the remake. Now, the remake was the last film I watched, because that was basically the last film of the entire collection. But the remake kind of confused me. And it also frustrated me. I mean, I love that they used I love that they used Jared Padalecki, and I love that they used Danielle Panabaker, because those two are brilliant actors. I love Danielle. I'm biased, because Danielle is basically a Disney star to me. A Disney actress to me, but even though she's not, she probably isn't. But that's what I remember her as, because the only films I've seen her in are Disney. And I know Jared from the show Supernatural, and probably something else, because I know I've seen him in other stuff. Especially when he was younger. Jeez. Dang, he looked sexy when he was young. Anyways, the remake of Friday the 13th, it didn't seem like a remake at all. It seemed like a continuation of something. I'm not sure which part of the chronology, though. A lot of people are saying that it's a remake, but the way it's done, it doesn't look like a remake at all. It just looks like a modern version of Friday the 13th. Basically. Well, that's enough of my ranting of Friday the 13th. Wait, no, it's not. I actually kind of want to get the game, but I have a feeling that it's not available to the public yet. Because Because when I saw the videos of it on Omwrecker's channel, it's still in the beta version. And from what I understand, I could be wrong, but from what I understand, you can only get the beta version of a game is if you have either connections or you are chosen to be a beta gamer. Which is really cool, by the way. Because even though I don't get paid, I don't earn any money on my gaming channel, it would be really cool if I got chosen to do a beta gaming. Because I think I kind of did, actually, with one of the games that I did. I don't remember what it was called, though. Doing the demo for Fran Bow was a lot of fun. Even though it took me forever. From what I understand, it's a 45-minute demo. I did it in like 2 hours. Because I was so dumb and clueless. Which is so weird, considering I had seen that demo on Markiplier's channel. Jeez. Anyways, I don't know why I'm talking about gaming, because I should be talking about this in my rabbit vlogs and not my Esperanza videos. But I didn't know what else to talk about. Plus, Friday the 13th is an awesome collection. It's not... People say that it's like a horror thriller kind of film collection, but in my opinion, it's not. I mean, yeah, there's blood and gore and stuff like that, but it's not that scary. I mean, there may be a whole bunch of... Okay. It is horror and thriller. But it didn't scare me as much as it used to. Like, the more movies of it I watched, the more I found it just dumb and idiotic and stereotypical. But I actually realized Friday the 13th is an original thing. And after the first few movies, I'm like, oh, that Scream franchise is just a copy of Friday the 13th. What? Now I want to watch the Scream franchise. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Matthew Lillard. Jeez. Alright. I'm done. I need to stop. I'm enjoying this way too much. Alright, that's enough of me. I'm done. You can go to the next video. Talk to you guys later. I'm the Esperanza Different 3. Signing out. Bye.